could just say your names. No, I'm just kidding. Vin Diesel, Zoe Saldana, and Chris Pratt. Look at them. They're famous. All right, so we're going to ask...
So first of all, we want to thank you guys for coming to the very center of the nerd universe here at Google.
Yes,
a wise choice.
Knock a lot of them out right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you some questions. Okay, so this movie we all saw it. I saw it last week. It was amazing. It's really I would say it's almost like 95% a comedy. It's really like a fun. I mean, the tone is like super light and fun. Like, is it hard to keep it loose when you know that it's, they're spending like $1 million a minute? I'm not good with math, but something like that.
It was around $1 million a second, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You have those figures.
It is a little difficult juggling tone, I think, when you have comedy and action and drama and all those things in the same movie. A lot of times when movies try to have all three of those things, they essentially fail at all three. Mm-hmm. Like, movies that are trying to be funny and have action and have drama oftentimes fail at all of those things. And so... it is a little scary because you're there and, like, you're surrounded by alien makeup extras and you're on this amazing set outdoors. It's literally costing at least thousands of dollars a minute, if not more. Yeah. And they're like, okay, no, do the Running Man more. And you're like, oh my God, like, if this doesn't work, it's going to be super embarrassing, So it is a little tough, but I think tone is something that's like we just sort of have to trust James in the post-production process that he's going to polish it and test it and make sure that the comedy's working but not overshadowing the action and not overshadowing the drama. I mean, I like to liken it to like gastronomy, like those kind of dishes that shouldn't work together but do, and it's the result of a chef knowing just how much caviar to mix with the lollipop and the cat food.
The gastronomy
that tastes so good.
Yeah, because a lot of times it is weird when you're like, oh wait, now the raccoon's crying. What do we,
Right.
But it worked.
But it works. Yeah, I think as long as the ingredients are really organic and fresh, and you have it in the hands of a good chef, they can like give you a dish that you're not used to eating, but you're like, God damn it, that's really good.
Are you hungry, dude? Did you eat before?
I did not eat. Every time I'm only use food metaphors, I'm hungry.
All right. Have any of you auditioned for any of these like superhero, huge superhero comic book kind of things before? I know, Vin, you've been in a billion action movies.
No, this is the first Marvel film, the first superhero film I've done.
And there was like a social media wave to get you involved in a Marvel movie. Was that how this came about?
Yeah, it happened last year. It was at Comic-Con. I was at Comic-Con and I was at Hall H for Riddick, and someone in an Iron Man outfit asked me the question, how did I envision my relationship with Marvel would be? And then the next day, Kevin Feige was there, and they asked him the same question. And then 2 weeks later, Kevin Feige called me and said, "You want to play a tree?"
To which you said, I am
Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, how many times did you have to say that? I mean, was it like, hey, just come in and give us 6 and then we're good?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about James Gunn is that he really was invested in this movie. And I was lucky because they had already shot so much of the movie. And when I went into the ADR booth, I was loving what I was seeing. I was loving these characters.
So you got to play off the scenes that you already saw?
I got to play off all of them. So I'm loving Star-Lord. I'm loving Gamora. I'm seeing these guys in action. And I thought that there was only going to be 3 words when I came in there. And there was a 50-page document with I am Groot on the left-hand side, and then whatever he wanted to say. I know some of you, I mean, if this is the nerd capital, you do know what a Flora Colossus is, and it is a Groot. And essentially, people that are familiar with him can understand him, but if you aren't familiar with him because he has a hardened larynx, you can't understand the nuance of his speech. So James Gunn really wanted to give me the line, and then the process was trying to make that line fit into the 3 monosyllabic words of I am Groot. And
So like, so speaking Groot, like say if you wanted to say, I'll take the check, how would that sound?
awkward.
All right,
doesn't
Doug,
go to
you
restaurants.
gave us one that was good.
I gave you one.
Yeah.
Come on, what is this?
Zoe, you between Star Trek, this, and Avatar, like you're in space more than you're not in space. Is that something like? Is it hard for you to go like from that to okay, now you're in Pittsburgh with Christian Bale, and it's a serious scene?
I kind of wished I was in space when I went to Pittsburgh. I know. No.
New Yorker. She's a New Yorker,
Listen.
guys.
No. The content of what we were doing was so not fun. When you work in a movie like this, you're kind of skipping to work and you're just sort of bitching and moaning about the long hours of makeup and the 18-hour shoots or whatever. When you do a film like Out of the Furnace, we can be shooting it in Miami, in South Beach. It's still not going to be fun, and you're still going to wish that you were in space. The content was really heavy. Nobody made a joke. And everybody was like a method actor. So I'm the only one like walking to work like and
Wipe
sitting
that
in the
smile off your
makeup
face.
trailer. And I have like Christian Bale here and Casey Affleck there, and I'm like, like it was just like, oh my God, I'm so like. So it was good when after that movie, you know, and I was very proud of it. I saw it too. It's good to do things here on Earth sometimes, and because then when you do get to go on space, you're like, yeah.
Was sci-fi doing all that stuff? Was sci-fi something?
I love Pittsburgh, by the way. You guys have so many awesome bridges, and the Andy Warhol Museum is there. By the way, don't Sienna Miller me, please.
But Christian Bale and Casey Affleck, not so much. I'm just kidding.
But was sci-fi something that you've been interested in, like were you originally when you started acting, or did it just kind of come to you?
No, I grew up in a household where my mother, if she wasn't watching science fiction, she was reading it. And I remember I read Dune when I was very, very young, and I was Lady Jessica. For many Halloweens, I was a Bene Gesserit. And there was something about the curiosity of what can happen there, and having a lot of respect through my mother's eyes for the writers and creators that were able to imagine the unimaginable. I just thought it was such a bold decision, and they were originals, you know? And being an underdog myself, I kind of felt an affinity always with people that were able to go outside of the norm and see life for what it truly, truly is, which is a complete blank canvas. So filmmakers like J.J. Abrams, James Cameron, Steven Spielberg are not people that I would have thought that a girl from Queens would get to work with in the first, 7 or 8 years of my acting career, and yet I did, and I was very grateful for it. And then I connected all the dots, and it has to do with our affinity with space, and I'm okay with that. I did have a fear when James Gunn came calling. They come calling. I swear to God, I always go, this will be the last, and then it's like you got so and so. It's like, what do you want?
You're gonna be green now instead of blue.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, that brings up, is it harder to play a green person or a blue person?
Well, because I'm a little lazy and hard. I like motion capture better because you guys get to do all the hard work, and I do my work and I put it all out there. But then I walk away, and then it's all done in 2 years, like in post and things like that. For Guardians of the Galaxy, like I have to sit there for 5 hours, and it's not cool. Like I have ADD, I have OCD. Like I'm in England, I'm away from home, so it's still dark. And you go in and you're getting your makeup done, and you come out, and it's still dark. Like the day hasn't even started, and then you have like 16 hours worth of work to do. And you can't complain because everybody's just so happy to be there. Yeah. So it was a little challenging.
So we were watching it. We were just like, so does every actor know karate now? Like it seems like, did you guys know many martial arts before this, or did you have to learn it for the? I mean, when you were in the booth, I am Groot, just doing it for fun. No, but I mean, it seems like you guys were doing a lot of martial arts?
They had to really dumb down my martial arts skill.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm a 10th degree black belt in every martial art. Yeah, I did kung fu when I was I think in 3rd grade. So I was pretty much qualified to
Didn't
kick
she
ass in space.
Didn't she kick you pretty hard a couple times?
Yeah, yep, she did.
Still
She's got these. She's really a very powerful athlete, and a lot. People don't understand that power isn't come from brute strength. It comes from grace, and it comes from clean lines. You know what I mean? Like you see the most graceful mixed martial arts fighters, and they're not big muscle heads. They're actually almost like ballerinas, you know what I mean? And she's a ballerina, so she whacked me once in the ribs. I think I push on it, it hurts still, so it might be broken. I don't know. It's been a year, so I think she broke it. But yeah, she was wearing these boots too. They're kind of like high heel boots, but instead of having a heel, they have a sole, a thin rubber hard sole at the bottom, and then a heel. They're kind of interesting, like a triangle. And then she sort of drove that triangle, I guess, into my lung.
Diaphragm, into your diaphragm.
Yeah, well, I'd say through my diaphragm, more into my lung. Yeah, it was good. She whacked me good, But it's kind of nice because
But we told him. It's do you want to wear your guard, your safeguards? No, I got it.
Yeah.
Everybody came. James Gunn, the stunt coordinator, everybody. And I was like, seriously, Chris, you don't want to wear it? Are you sure? He's like, oh, come on. It's we know our marks, and all right.
Well, but
So were you not supposed to make actual contact?
No, you usually you don't. You're not supposed to. But
Ben does.
when you work with a director. When you work with someone like James Gunn, he'll go well, you just get a little closer. Just get a little closer. And we're kind of looking at each other.
It's kind of like you're blaming James and me for not wearing some protective shield. Look, the thing is when
It's true.
when people do stunts and when you do physical activities, you just get bumps and bruises.
Sure.
And the
Yes.
fact that I got one from Zoe seems for some reason to be remarkable because she's a female, but she just happens to be another one of the people who did a lot of her own stunts, and so
Yes.
you just get bumps and bruises when you do these things, and the
funnier story.
The tougher bump I got was her kicking me in the ribs. Yeah.
You there's a lot of talk about how in shape you got for this and how
Go on, be more specific. What exactly?
you got I don't know. You just got totally ripped, Mr. Universe style. Now, do you now have to get back into comedy shape? Is there a comedy weight that you have to get to?
Been doing some extensive comedy weight training. Yeah.
You want to train with us?
Actually, yeah, we can train you. We're good. We're right around in that good comedy weight.
Yeah, I've definitely started incorporating fun things and tasty things back into my life. That's just sort of the natural balance, you work very, very hard, but you only live in that impeccable shape for maybe 24 hours. Seriously, it's several months built up to it's like an orchid that blooms and dies on the same day, It's care and concern, watering, and the perfect amount of sunshine for 6 months, and then it just, and you take a selfie. And then the orchid falls off, and
You were sucking in the whole movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, I have to say, Chris went through an arduous, and very strict and purposeful transformation process that I had the gift of witnessing. And he did it primarily for health reasons, and he's a father as well, so he wants to be a good example, not just to his family, but also to people out there that it is possible. You could do it. You could be the chubby guy from Parks and Recs, and then all of a sudden
You could just be on some crummy
all of a
TV
sudden-
show on NBC, and then
a superhero in a Marvel movie, and it's the message, the positive message that's sent out there is really great. Where's my money?
I'm gonna go on that diet. The get cast in a huge blockbuster.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Kind
It's
of
a good one.
you're gonna do a nude scene diet, probably.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to open up to questions? Anybody?
But Ben, the working out thing is you have to do that all the time. I imagine. Is it for you? Is it his process of it's the one day?
But
that's perfect.
for everyone, in some ways, it is.
Yeah.
You're always building to a specific scene, or you're building to a specific fight scene, whether it's an
guns are
aesthetic
out.
thing or whether And yeah.
Are you ever just like, hey, just let me stay in the car the whole time? I don't see.
I am like that a lot. I am like that. I'm just keep me in the car.
The Rock is out there. I don't want to get out
Yeah,
and stand next to him.
I don't want to slip on baby oil. So,
Ask a question.
Hi. Speaking of baby oil,
Good start.
so Vin, Mr. Diesel. I don't know if we want to be on a first name basis or not.
hey man, now we are.
Okay, sweet. So Vin Diesel, Zoe Saldana. Both of you have been action figures before. For Chris, I don't know if there was a Parks and Rec action figure, but maybe this is the first time you're an actual like action figure that's out there and kids play with. So one, what's that feel like? And two, have you ever played with yourself?
Come on, I mean, really. Not really, come on. Yes, I have played with myself, by the way. Yeah, my son was at Target and somehow found a Groot doll. And then when my daughter wanted one, they said they were sold out and they didn't have any of the Targets, and it became a big deal. And it's a strange thing when you see a doll of yourself. It's very Twilight Zone. You imagine, going to brush your teeth at night and opening up the cabinet and seeing nothing but Groot dolls. It's freaky. It's a real freaky thing to see a doll of yourself. I mean, especially if you're a tree.
Now, how did you guys? Who were you acting with? Was it like a tennis ball thing, or for Groot and what's the fox guy's name?
What's that guy's name?
The raccoon. The raccoon.
Fox.
The raccoon. Sorry.
Yeah, how dare you?
Rocket.
He'd blow your head off.
I
He would
know.
shoot a hole in your face. No. You see, like it really would, like the way it works technically, and not to bore you with all what it takes to
No
make
one's
this
gonna be
movie.
bored by technical stuff here.
I guess it's probably true. It is pretty fascinating. It really depended on what the shot was. Would determine what we were acting opposite. So if we're doing a close-up of Gamora and she's having an emotional scene with Groot where she looks at him and she's like having a real interaction, and we need to capture that magic, right here, then you'll have her acting opposite an actor. It would either be Christian, who played the role of Groot on set, or Sean Gunn, who has another role in the film as Kraglin.
He was hilarious.
Yeah, he's really great, and James Gunn's brother, Sean, he's great, so good, and those characters were definitely born there on the stages when we were working, and those guys had a pretty thankless job, and they're sort of the unsung heroes of the movie because they were there every single day in and out creating this stuff really just so that we could have organic performances opposite them. So like when you go in for those money shots, those magic emotional moments where you're having, like, for instance, Quill is reacting to Rocket when he sees him in the prison for the first time, and he's like, he sees the cybernetic enhancements on his back. He sees that this is a creature that's not just a tough, little guy with a machine gun, but actually like a living, breathing creature who feels stuff and who's like probably lonely. Like you develop empathy, and that's all because I'm watching Sean walk in and essentially create that performance just so that I can react to it. So like depending on, and then sometimes you'd have like an LED light or an eye line, or if it's a big wide shot, we might have nothing
We
at
did
all.
have some tennis balls every
There
now
was
and
time
then.
for tennis balls, yeah.
And sometimes Chris had his own tennis ball, and I had my own tennis ball.
Yeah, and they had separate trailers. They kind of
Absolutely.
actually they didn't get along. And so
No, our
it's,
tennis balls did not get along.
Yeah, we'd have different eye lines. So like if this plant didn't exist right here, and we need to look like we're looking at it, I'd be looking at the young lady here in the black and rose dress.
In between these two individuals.
And I'd be looking somewhere over there.
Yeah. And Groot would be licking his shoulder.
Eating his shoulder,
Yeah.
Now, when you were watching the stuff, were they like, did you accidentally hear the other guys' "I am Groots"? We're like, turn those off.
Never. I never heard any I Am Groot. It was just wide open. It was a really special experience for me because I was able to take my kids into the ADR booth. And so my kids were, even before I saw the movie, my kids were already imitating both of them. Literally. My 3-year-old son was saying, "Star-Lord, man." I mean, it was, and my daughter runs around acting like she's Gamora now, and they already know each other, so it's a surreal thing. Such a good experience. It's one of those. You all saw the movie? Yeah. Oh, so you all saw this movie?
Oh yeah, we get to see stuff early around.
What did you think of the movie? I call it a gift movie. I call it a gift movie because you have to gift it to someone. You want to share it with someone. You want to take every kid in your neighborhood to this movie.
What do you get a question from this gentleman who's waiting?
First of all, congrats on Guardians 2.
Hey, thanks.
That's awesome.
Already.
So my question is, Vin, you came in a bit later, so is the press junket really how you're getting to know these guys? And are you going to be doing on-set stuff for 2? Or?
Very, very good question. I've known Zoe for many years, so Zoe was kind of a comfort zone coming into this.
I directed a web series, some of the episodes of a web series that Vin created called The Ropes. My sister and I were directed 3 or 4 episodes of that, so that's how we know Vin and his family.
And Chris, I met on the junket. I met Chris before I met Bradley Cooper. I mean, I met Bradley Cooper backstage at one of the talk shows, and but I felt like I knew him because I saw him in the ADR booth and I'm playing off of him. But it is surreal. It's kind of I play a tree. I mean, I guess there are no rules.
How do you play a tree without seeming wooden?
It's strange. I guess I'm going for that wooden performance. I mean, I look at trees different. You gotta say, guys, you've seen the movie. You have to tell me you look at trees a little bit different.
Like you're not kick my ass.
Well, you're not so ashamed of your tree hugger parents anymore, are you? I mean, it's a new world. Did anyone plant a tree after they saw the movie? Not much to ask. Not much to ask.
Let's take one from a super nerdy one from the Dory here. Give every member of the team whatever weapons he or she wants. Who would win in a battle royale / Hunger Games scenario, and why? Part B, toss in the Avengers. Toss in the Avengers, now what? Let's just make this who would win in a fight. You guys are the Avengers.
Are we? Do we get to use our spaceship?
Yes.
Because Iron Man wouldn't be. I mean, like I think.
Well, he gets to wear his suit.
He gets to wear his suit, right?
But he can't take anybody with him, and Thor either. Thor can only take like his girlfriend on a ride, and that's it.
Only Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Yes.
No
does it take place on Earth or in space?
Space.
In space?
Yeah.
We win.
Because
we would win.
The suit, you can.
Well, we have more. Yeah, we have. I think the deciding factor would probably be Rocket because like he would. You know, he would take Tony Stark's suit apart and like build like a nuclear bomb out of it or something.
And then they also have a god, so
yeah,
you would obviously dismantle Thor.
Yeah, right, because we also have a god. No,
Star-Lord!
He's my daddy.
I mean,
no, but I seriously think that we would win. But it's not.
You're the deadly. You're supposed to be the deadliest woman in the galaxy. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
I seriously think that we would win because they're all human. They're all Terran, except for Thor.
Yep.
And you know, and we are. Well, but it depends.
But you guys got your own big guy too.
Comes in and he's such a nice guy.
Rocket would kill Bruce Banner. He would wait for the Hulk to stop being the Hulk.
Okay,
and
all right.
In and like slit Bruce Banner's throat, and then it would be done.
You guys are writing the movie right now.
Like Guardians movie. And
There's going to be a crossover, and they all die in the first 3 minutes. I'm sorry. And then it just becomes like a kind of buddy comedy between Groot and Rocket.
Do you guys ever start like pitching ideas like that to the director?
That's what we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
I thought this was a creative meeting.
This is a pitch meeting.
Yeah, this is.
You guys,
Didn't you
this is all testing really well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We throw around ideas, we pitch ideas, but you know they don't listen to them.
We like
Do you want to
Let's, like,
see
give this guy-
Avengers vs. Guardians? What do you think would happen?
Ready? All at once.
All at once, man.
Yeah, everyone go. Well, first of all, I
Sing
don't
the
know.
chant, man. Guardians of God. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Let's take one from the gentleman over there.
So Vin, I've heard you're really into Dungeons and Dragons. So I have 2 questions.
Yes.
What character do you play? And would you be willing to join our group?
You know, it's whenever anyone asks me to join their campaign, there's a good old feeling I have where I feel like, you know, I'm not alone in the world. And it's okay to be a dweeb. I played a lot of characters. And I played my most famous character you might have read about, which was my witch hunter, my half-drow witch hunter. The irony is I'm about to, next month, do a movie called The Witch Hunter. Kind of freaky. I mean, I never thought in a million years when I was rolling that 20-sided die 20-something years ago that Hollywood would make a movie about a witch hunter. But that's another story. And yet, where are you playing on the East Coast?
Well, we actually do it over video chat.
You are doing video chat.
Yeah, so we've got one guy down in North Carolina, and he will video in. And
are you using modules? I mean, are you?
It's mostly 2nd edition rules, but they have some holdovers from the 1st edition. So.
Okay.
Just thinking about it.
I mean, we played with Unearthed Arcana. We played with everything. I mean, that's where the Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter wasn't created by Gary Gygax, as you know. It was an aftermarket book, so we were trying to incorporate and create new games and try to create it was a special time. D&D was a special time. Yeah, man, we might have to get into that.
Yeah.
We might have to get into that. I can get into that, man. Do you know that Gary Gygax, as he... I'm sorry,
I told you it was going to get dorky, yeah.
Split up into breakout sessions where everyone gets their own Guardian of the Galaxy.
Well, I'll tell you later. It's Gary Gygax.
That's awesome.
Chris, I had one for you. So try to look at, you know, the mythology of Star-Lord, and it looks like there's a whole lot of different stories and origin stuff. Did you read everything you could get your hands on, or were you like,
No.
I'm just gonna read the words on the script when the camera's on?
No. It was somewhere in between the two. It wasn't like, you know, I think it takes a lot, for me, and this is gonna sound crazy, but it was the same thing when I did the movie Moneyball. There's a book that it's based on, and I remember reading the script and I was like, this is just such a great version of this story. I don't want to come into this questioning the script. I don't want to come in and say, well, you know, in fact, this time is a little off, because it just works so well as a story. I thought the same thing with this script. A lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the incarnations of the Guardians of the Galaxy don't include Star-Lord. Like the ones that I had coincidentally collected as a kid, they didn't have Star-Lord in them. And so there were some Star-Lord comics out there, but for me what was important, the thing that grabbed me in the script in creating this character was that he and I are kind of the same person. I mean, we're both born in 1979, so in 1988 we were 9 years old. And we both have all the same pop culture references and icons, which for him is like it's who he is. I mean, he was taken away from Earth at 9 years old and brought out into space and given an opportunity to be an adventurer, and he's like sort of running from this traumatic thing that happened to him. And so what he wants to do is just create a hero that he wants people to think that he is Star-Lord. And everything he knows about life is based on the movies that I watched as a kid. The music that I listened to, the dance moves that I knew. It's like this guy is basically what me as 9 years old would want to be if I was given carte blanche to be an adventurer in space. So that's where I started mining for information, is like, what did I like? The Kevin Bacon line, that was a result of collaboration. And Footloose, that was never in the script. Like these things like that are like,
Yeah, 'cause
I loved Footloose, and I was like, when she says she won't dance, maybe it should be this ideology. He like really looks at these movies as like the legends that create him, you know, because he's like, he hasn't been to Earth since he was 9, you know, so he gets to kind of be whoever he wants to be. So that's really where I started kind of developing, or where we collaborated developing who this guy would be, is like just who I was at that age.
Yeah, when Gamora says, like, just like Kevin Bacon, I think that was like the biggest laugh
Yeah.
in the theater.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing that went in there because I was waiting to hear a little Footloose on the soundtrack. I was like,
Yeah.
where's that song?
Yeah, no.
Did they plan all those songs out? The soundtrack is amazing. Did you like know what the mixtape was gonna be?
I knew, yeah, that was the first thing I requested after reading the script was I was like, all right, James, send me this mixtape because, you know, in the script he had written specifically each song that would play in each scene, and that lasted throughout from his first draft all the way to the end. Like those songs were in there and planned. So I made him send me the mixtape, which includes all of those songs plus many more, because I figured, you know, if you have like one cassette tape and it's all you listen to for 20 years, it's gonna become part of you, you know. So I'd listen to that thing. I mean, no less than 100 times, but probably more than 100 times.
Wow. So in the sequel, we're gonna hear that second mixtape.
Yeah, we'll hear Awesome Mix Volume 2.
We noticed there was no scene where you're like trying to unwind it with the pencil or like rewind it when it gets screwed up.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn it! These guys have a really busy day. Let's take one more if we can.
So Thanos has already been introduced in Avengers and now he's been shown in Guardians, right? So are there any plans already being made for teaming up both the Avengers and the Guardians probably for the next version of the movie?
Well, James Gunn has talked about that already. He's been pretty open about a cross collaboration of Avengers, and is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think I would want to see. I don't ever want to see the Guardians fight the Avengers.
Yeah.
I want to see them sort of fighting together, maybe against Thanos, because I do believe that Thanos isn't Thanos like the overall enemy of everybody, right?
You don't know? I'm just kidding.
I think like
Isn't he your dad?
He is my
it
dad.
depends on which
Adopted.
way they want to go, right? Like what I think is so cool about the Guardians of the Galaxy is it opens up the universe. So like instead of like taking these new things and bringing them right back to the stories we already know, I think it's like open it up, like see what other corners of the galaxy we can discover. Bring in characters like that weren't, you know, bring in characters that were from some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like explore Yondu, explore the origins more of these characters. And if it is Thanos, explore the Infinity Gauntlet. Like how many of these stones is he gonna get? And who does that open up? Like instead, the universe expands, you know. And looking out on it, we want to take these characters and bring them into the Avengers, and we want to like have them be all in the same movie together. It's like no, fuck that. Make fucking 100 movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they end up crossing over, great.
Are we out of time? Okay.
Guys, I've been told that we are out of time officially. Please thank our beloved guests for joining us.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Todd.
You guys have any closing statements?
One more. Why no post-credit scene?
There is a post-credit scene.
What?
There is a post-credit scene, and it's not going to be in any of the advanced screenings, none of the press screenings. It is. Hey, don't groan.
Well, we missed it.
You want the post-credit scene? It's going to cost you $13. Get out and see this, maybe a little more in IMAX, and you'll see it. But I know what it is, and no one else does. Yes, I do. And it's going to blow your mind.
Now I
so
gotta
go
go
back.
see it.
Just if for anything, go back. Just
I'm gonna
for now.
sneak into a theater at the end of this.
All right, once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.